guys, welcome back to User Experience Points. This week we're sticking with swords and sorcery and talking about Skyrim. Skyrim is a great game to cover on this show because its interface was actually a topic of discussion in the larger gaming community for a while. There's even a well-known mod for the PC version that offers a complete overhaul of most of its menus. It's a pretty impressive effort that solves a lot of the game's UI problems, even though it violates one of the user experience commandments.
Thou shalt not use unlabeled icons in a menu.
That said, we're going to focus on the console version of Skyrim because my 5-year-old MacBook can barely run Thomas Was Alone, and console interfaces are a more engaging subject of study for me because of their unique input method, the controller. Skyrim's map is very much a modern video game map with a bajillion icons, but the other functions of the screen are the true stars here. See, an average play session in Skyrim is going to involve completing quests. This means opening your journal first, either by hitting the start button or jumping to it from your map, selecting a quest, then going back to your map to see where you need to go. This is made easy with shortcuts between the map and journal screens, a clear distinction between places you've been to, and being able to place a marker anywhere on the map. I love the marker the most because of its context-sensitive functionality. Whoever was behind this thing is a UX mastermind. Since you normally select a location to travel to with the A button, hitting A on the map without your cursor over a specific location automatically places a marker. This blue icon is independent of your current quest objective. Hitting A on the map when you already have a marker placed brings up a menu with the only 3 logical options: moving it, leaving it alone, or getting rid of it. This type of UX sorcery is the best kind, the one that the user never really notices or thinks about. Skyrim's heads-up display is overall the best part of the game's UX design. HUD elements like health, stamina, and ammunition if you have a ranged weapon equipped only appear when they're needed, keeping the amount of information you have to process while a dragon is biting you at a minimum. The only element that's always on screen is the best one. The compass is easily one of the most well-designed HUD elements I've ever seen. It functions as a more elegant solution to the minimaps you see in every other open-world game. If I can direct your attention away from this lovely walk through the woods to the top of the screen, take a look at this icon, which marks the next destination for whatever quest you're on. Watch what happens as I look around. You'll notice other map icons which represent nearby locations are displayed here as well. The black ones are undiscovered and the white ones have been visited by you before, dynamically encouraging exploration as you venture around the countryside. The cool thing here too is that your current destination never leaves the compass. No matter what direction you're facing, it's always on screen, so you always have a visual reference of where you need to go, even when you get distracted by a cool looking cave or something. And finally, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Skyrim's items menu is easily the most critiqued part of the interface because it's got a lot of problems, but I do think it's better than it's given credit for. First off, I like the layout, which I would be willing to bet was inspired by the column view in the Finder on Apple computers, my personal favorite view of the options available. Either way, it's a nice continuation of the directional menu that precedes it and makes excellent use of the more natural movement of the controller's analog stick to select things and drill down further into the menu. The completely text-based approach doesn't bother me either, though the font size could have been bumped up 2 or 3 points. While one could debate forever how certain icons like a house or this damn thing are ubiquitous enough to assume that users will identify them as a homepage and menu respectively, text labels for UI elements will always better communicate what they are as long as you have a good copywriter. Icons can be used to enhance text labels but can almost never replace them. For example, icons could be used to represent upgrades on armor or weapons rather than appending legendary in parentheses after the item's name, forcing the font to shrink to maintain the width of the column. Speaking of width, there's a serious waste of screen real estate here with the details of the currently selected item taking up almost 2/3 of the screen. Don't get me wrong, it's super cool that you can rotate the item's model around, but this section doesn't need the space it's given. Especially since a full screen option is available for expanding it. It could have been shrunk down to give the columns more space. Next we have the item filters on the left. These are problematic for 2 reasons. One, the all filter is redundant. You already selected all by selecting items in the previous menu. At this point you're looking for something specific, like a healing potion because a dragon just took a huge chunk out of your health, so all you need to see are your filters. Secondly, there's plenty of room on screen for all 9 items in this list. It's great that you start on the favorites filter, but it's positioned at the top of the list, and the vertical position for the selected filter unnecessarily pushes some of the filters off screen. If the favorites filter were in the middle of the list, you would be able to see all the filters on screen when you first enter the items menu, and getting to them would overall be faster since the farthest you'd have to go would be 4 filters away. Still, this interface overall functions pretty well, and once you get the hang of it, it makes great use of the controller's buttons to keep all possible actions of an item at point of use. With a one-handed weapon selected, for example, you can use the left and right triggers to equip it to the matching hand, add it to your favorites with the Y button, or just drop it with the X button. I also like the way information about your character related to the tasks that can be completed in this menu is displayed at the bottom right. Your health is here since you can use healing potions, the amount of weight you're carrying live updates as you discard items, and scrolling through weapons allows you to see how your damage is affected. Your current gold isn't the most useful thing to show unless you're talking to a merchant, but it makes sense because gold is treated as an item in your inventory. Skyrim's interface may have a few problems, but overall I consider it a pretty impressive achievement because there's some really smart UX design choices that have been made in certain areas. More fantasy RPGs need to take a user-centered approach like this rather than throwing up a tabbed menu that looks like an old tome and calling it a day. That's it for this week. Don't forget to subscribe, and definitely reach out to me if you've got some ideas for games you'd like to see me cover on the show. A couple of you told me that you're having trouble hearing my narration over the background music, so please let me know if this episode is an improvement. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next week.